Eti. The second presenter will be Ibu Ani. Okay. But before we start learning, let's pray together, shall we? Okay, finish. Bapak Ibu who are still online, can you listen to my voice clearly over there in your place?
Clearly, sir.
Very clear.
Very clear. Okay.
It's so clear.
I do hope that everybody can take a lot of benefits from our discussions within 1.5 hours. And the first presenter has been ready for a long time. But Eti is going to present about lifelong learning with pedagogy. Yeah. Okay. So, Mbak Eti, are you ready for presentations? Okay, the floor is yours. You be here, will you be here?
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Still in first, okay. Okay, I will present my topic for the Pak Sahabat give to us. So, if you have any questions, I will, you can ask after my talk. Okay. Okay. Next, Mas. Okay, before we go to the center of my talk, this is a quotes that I very like from Muklas Samani. Be a lifelong learner, which is you must be curious and seek out and take advantage of every opportunity to gain more knowledge. So this is can increase your skills and you will become a greater expert. So the resourceful about this learning and sharing will be a best practice for you. So never stop growing for all of us. I hope. Okay, this is the opening for my topic. My topic is about because this is the have a connection with my topic. Okay, Mas, next. Yeah, my topic is developing lifelong learning with pedagogy, which is in this topic is contain a context, how is what is pedagogy, what the critics about pedagogy, and what the challenges about the pedagogy. So I relate my quotes because this is a content lifelong learning for the backend. So what I intend to do is to break down these presentations into 3 parts. One first context, and second critics, and the third or finally is challenges. Next, Mas. Okay, we go to the first presentations about what the context of the pedagogy. The main of this article from Pak Sahabat give to us that we must choose one of them is a review for the several articles for several journals that will synthesize or peer review this article to explore how what is the context of pedagogy and how this apply to online learning environments. This is the aims for this article. And what is pedagogy is? Pedagogy is a self-determined learning. underlined with a green green color, because this is the main topic that we must focus on this topic, yeah, self-determined learning. And then this is the instructional approach, and can emphasize the self-determinations in the learners. And in Heutagogy, which is the instructors is serve as the compass, or I think in my words, instructors serve as the facilitator for learners in their learning journey. And the Heutagogy is not only about the knowledge acquisition, but this is the very important thing, I think. The Heutagogy is about the skill development for the learner. And then it can be denied that we use the technologies. So the Heutagogy is also use the technology to connect and collaborate for the learner's journey, or the learner development, or the learner process. So the technology is the use of the technology is mediated from the learner and to the process of the learner journey or development or skill development that I say to their learning, and this technology have a new opportunities, and also they can choose how and where they're learning, which is where the place they want to learn, and how they learning to their continuous process for the learning. Okay, next, Mas. Okay, now we go to the second presentations about the critics from this Heutagogy. Okay, Heutagogy is good, but there is some, yeah, I think some of the critics too, because the Heutagogy is a lack of empirical evidence, because regarding the applications of the approach. So the Heutagogy is cannot to be a theoretical or like constructivism, or like the constructivism. So it's not a theory, because the Heutagogy is only an approach for the learning for the learners. Yeah. So the only focusing for the phenomena for this learning journey. So very lack of empirical evidence. And then this Heutagogy is still a need of additional studies. So how this can be implemented in non-formal learning or in online learning. Okay, next, Mas. Okay, next, the last my presentation is about the challenges from this Heutagogy. Okay, the Heutagogy is have several challenges too, from applications for the learning, for the teaching. This Heutagogy is all about the education landscape, because it's much of our learnings it occurs outside, and this is can for the traditional and formal learning environment. So the challenges is about particularly around about the accreditations, how the institutional policies, and how this is can implemented in formal or informal education. The instructor can explore more opportunities. So this is the heterogeneity. It can integrate approach for their curriculum and can develop their lifelong learning skills in the learners. So the pedagogical approach is heavy emphasis for the learner's autonomy. So this is a way for the learners to lifelong learning that is very critical for success in 21st centuries and beyond. Okay, next, Mas. I think it's all from me. I think that's all from me. Yeah, it's so simple, my presentations about these topics, but very a lot for our discussions. Okay, I think that's all, Bapak Ibu. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I will try to answer as long as I can.
Okay, we would like to continue to the second presenter.
Okay.
We need to listen to the explanations from the second presenter. After the second presenter, can everybody listen to me?
Yeah, I move to my chair.
Just here.
Okay.
Stay there.
Okay. Wait. I will move this.
All right, thank you very much for the first presenter. Ibu Edi has already presented about the first title of the first topic regarding developing lifelong learners with the pedagogy. Bapak Ibu, you can just give the questions after the second presentations. Please write down as many questions as possible, and then we can discuss the questions with the presenters. But of course, we are looking forward to listening to the second presenter first. After all, we can discuss the problems or the questions that you are giving to the presenters. Okay, Ibu Ani, are you there? Hello, Ibu Ani?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so you have 15 minutes up to 20 to present your topic. Okay, the floor is yours, Bu Ani.
Thank you, sir. Okay, wait a minute.
So please take notes, Bapak Ibu. Please take notes. Please take any questions because it's quite interesting if you know the essence of pedagogy. Okay, so we are waiting for Ibu Ani.
Yeah. Okay. Excuse me, can you see my presentation PowerPoint?
Yes, I see.
Okay, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, everybody. And how are you today?
Good afternoon. We are
Okay, thank you very much. Yes. In this occasion today, I will try to deliver my presentation, the undertitle of Hutaguchi, a holistic framework for creating 21st century self-determined learners. And then the writers are Lisa Murray and Stuart Hayes. In the presentation before, as we know that Hutagoji is one of methodology of learning in language that can that can get all of not only the language acquisition but also the skill of language. And then here the keywords are Hutagoji, self-determined learning, learner-centered teaching. And then the agenda of these studies are the challenges of education. The second, Hutagoji is essential. The third, developing self-determined learner. And the Hutagogic design process. The fifth is Hutagogic design elements. And then the sixth is skilling learners and learning leaders. And the last is conclusion. Okay, before we talk more about about the essential of Hutaguchi, I will say something about our education learning system in this world. Okay. Great. Yeah. Hutaguchi is one of study that combine two what is it? Two kinds of study before. Those are humanistic and constructivistic. Humanistic learning views students as subjects who are free to determine the direction of their lives. Students are directed to be fully responsible for their own lives and also for the lives to others. Several approaches that are appropriate to use in this method are dialogue, reflective, and expansive approaches. And then the constructivistic learning theory recognizes that students will be able to interpret information in their minds.
Mbak Ani,
Yeah.
you can use your slideshow, so it's being
Yeah.
bigger for the.
Yeah. After this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I will repeat for constructivistic learning theory recognizes that students will be able to interpret information in their minds only the context of their own experiences and knowledge on their needs, backgrounds, and interests. So, Hutagogi is a study of learning that is determined independently by the learner. It can also be seen as a natural development from previous educational methodologies, especially from skills development, and may provide an, an optimal approach to learning in the 21st century. Okay. So Hutaguchi here, actually the writer will be deliver more about what is the problem when constructivistic and humanistic get some problems. So the writer said that using the principle of collaboration in learning and working with various individuals from various tribes, ethnicities, and religions, pre, prioritizing mutual respect and conducting open dialogue with the community will be more better than only use humanistic or constructivistic only. So, okay, by using Bloom's taxonomy, we can get steps of learning, and then that the first is only remember, so recall facts and basic concepts when our when our when our doing teaching, and then the second is understand. It is explain ideas or concepts. So if our study can explain more ideas or concepts, yeah, this is the second steps of Bloom's taxonomy. And then the next is apply, how the student use information in new situations. And then the higher level is analyze, how the student draw connections among ideas. And then the higher then is evaluate, how the student justify a stand or decision. And then the highest level is create. The student can create or produce new or original work. And then, and this is the highest level. This is the one of skills that industrial needed. So, what is the challenges of education? According to Lisa and Stuart Hayes, they said that there are many challenges of education. Those are how the student learning to know, how the student or audience learning to do, learning to be, learning to live together, and then learning to earn. This is all of the challenges of education that must be improvement year by year, time by time, to get the better human. Okay, and then the next, how about the Hutaguchi essentials? And then what is the correlation among all of that before? So Hutaguchi essentials, there are so many there are number of Hutaguchi essentials. The first is learner centered, and then what is the capability? The third is self-reflection and metacognition, double loop, and non-linear learning teaching. So here, I will say something. I will give you something. With Hutaguchi, the teacher, with Hutaguchi, the teacher can make a class more flexible, can make a class not only seeing what is the language acquisition, what is the what is the language, what will you do with language, but also how we use the language. It is called skill of language. So from essentials here, we can get the self-determined learning. It is learner-centered, not teacher-centered only. The student as object and also the subject of learning. Okay. For the learner-centered and learner-determined, it is the role of human agency in learning is a fundamental principle. The learner is at the center of all Hutaguchi practice. The learner is self-motivated and autonomous and is primarily responsible for deciding what will be learned and how it will be learned and assessed. I think it is very amazing. And then for capability here is characterized by the following: being able to use one's competencies in unfamiliar as well as familiar circumstances. Learner self-efficiency, communication, creativity, collaboration or teamwork, and positive values. Now, within Hutakuchi, it is essential that reflection occurs in a holistic way. Yeah, holistic way. The translated to the learner reflecting not only what she or he has learned, but also the way in which it has been learned and understanding how it is learned. So, because of that, job loop learning requires that learners are both psychologically and behaviorally engaged. They reflect can not only what they have learned, but also the way in which this new knowledge and the path to learning have influenced their values and belief system. So, as learning is self-determined, the part of learning is defined by the learner and it is not established by the teacher as a result of learners choosing their own path. Learning happens in a non-linear format. I think if in Kurikulum Merdeka we have Ki Hajar Dewantara philosophy, nah, I think similar like that, yeah. Okay. The next. Now, how about the Hutaguchi design process? Okay, those are Hutaguchi design process. There are three parts. The first is learning contract, and then learning activities, and then the last learning outcomes. Learning contract consists of identify learning needs and outcomes, negotiate assessment, what assessment will be used, and then adapt curriculum. Yeah. The second steps is learning activities, consists of identify resources, identify and develop learning skills, then design learning activities to provide formative feedback, and then self-reflection. Now, this is the characteristic of pedagogic design process. And then the last is learning outcomes that consists of assess learning outcomes and demonstrate competencies and skill. All of this to get capable, creative, self-determined learners. Okay. And then how about the Hutagogic design? The learners must be, the learner can explore, create, collaborate, connect, reflect, and also share whatever they get after doing study. Okay. The last is about skilling learners and learning leaders. How to skilling learners and learning leaders. There are two big part of skilling learners and learning leaders. The first are attributed, and then the second are the skill. Okay, for the attributed first. The attributed, those are four parts. The first, the capacity of accept and manage ambiguity. The second, the ability to foster engagement, and then the ability to learn. The last is the ability to apply open system thinking. Okay, I will explain more simple because those are I think those are many explanation about this. Okay. For the capacity to accept and manage ambiguity. By Hutagoji, the student can get the capacity to accept and manage the ambiguity. How the student can control herself. And then the second, the ability to foster engagement. The student can get empathy, optimism, flexibility to change approaches and circumstances change. How the student can solve the problem when they work in their industry now, industry then. And then the third, willingness to change, the ability to learn. It is the willingness to change our ideas or beliefs. The last is the ability to apply open system thinking. It is the willingness to empower others. How the student not only, how the student not satisfied with the first knowledge, but also he can approve year by new knowledge. Okay, and then how about the skills? Now, for the skills needed here, the ability to search to learn, being thoroughly on top of one subject's areas, having wide and accessible networks, ability to share openly with others. Those are knowledge management skills, and then the ability to foster collaborative learning ability to apply learning willingness to change on ideas and beliefs. Usually we can call it growth mindset. So a mindset that the student must be improve the skills year by year, time by time. Okay, and then the second is project management's ability to use social media. The third is interpersonal effectiveness, ability to self-regulate, and then understanding of how to motivate others, ability to foster search, purpose, and vision maintaining, and then ability to foster a search, purpose, and vision maintaining, direction fostering the joy or and rewards of learning. And then the last, the capacity of frequently scan the external environment, ability to foster participative democracy or collaboration decision making and process, capacity to work in a team as leader and member. Ongoing internal and external analysis of effectiveness. This is the continuous improvement. And then the ability to filter information as a research skill. So from all of our discussion today, for all of their discussion, they said that the learners of the 21st century or Hutagogic learners primarily need to be highly skilled learners. They need to be able to respond to a knowledge or skill deficit by knowing where to go to fill the gap. Whether this is by networking or searching the monstrous database that is the internet or library. And then the last sentence, the writer said that Hutagogi of self-determined learning provides them with a framework to think about learning in a revolutionary way. Why? Because they combine two sides of theory, humanistic and constructivistic. Okay, I think that's all for our presentation today. Thank you, and I have something to you. See you on Kurikulum Merdeka with Ki Hajar Dewantara, Philosophy. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Is there any question?
No, I can.
Okay, thank you for the time. For question. Sorry, Mr. Sabat, I can open my video because I still have activities with my students.
Oh yeah, okay, no problem, Bu Nafi. Okay, Bu Nafi. Okay, thank you very much for Ibu Ani, who has already presented the topic related to developing the framework of 21st century learning with pedagogy. And also for Bu Eti, thank you very much for presenting the topic about developing a lifelong learning with pedagogy. So it's quite interesting for both presenters, but I will not give any comment yet. I would like to give the opportunity for the audience to give feedback, respond, questions, or whatever regarding to the topic being discussed. First of all, if you have the questions, please mention your name, and then the question is directed to which speaker, the first speaker or second speaker or both the speakers. Okay, the floor is yours for the audience. You can give any response or feedback. Yes, Mbak Mada, please.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, the point that I got from two presenters that pedagogy is learner-centered and self-determined learning system, something like that. But I missed the point that if we are as a teacher applying Hutajoji as a absolute method in class in our school, what kind of baseline or limitation that we can formulate, or we just let them be, let them choose as they want, or something like that. Because I heard the terms of flexible curriculum, how flexible the curriculum can be. That's I am asking for the limitation. And what is the standard for measure the development of the students if we are applying the pedagogy approach?
Sorry, what is the second question?
The standard to measure the student development. Okay, that's all. This question I'm asking to Bu Eti. Thank you.
To Bu Eti, okay, thank you. Ibu Eti, you want to respond directly or with another questions? Okay, you can directly respond.
I have a question.
You can directly respond it. Oh,
Is this for a question?
yeah, yes, unplug it.
Thank you. It's really not a question. Maybe this is just my penasaran saya. What I see that pedagogy's exercise is how students learn. Students must be able to explore how they learn. My question is, what are the goals of pedagogy? This is related with how we can assess them with this pedagogy. That's my question. That's my penasaran saya. That's up, sir.
Okay.
Bagaimana kita menilainya?
Yes, we got it. A lot of echoes from the computer. A lot of noise there. Okay, so Bu Eti, you have 3 questions from 2 questioners from 2 audience. Okay, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think the question for Bu Nafi is the same for Kak Ros. For the second question, right? How to measure the system. Yeah, I think only two. So so how we can limitation, or we can go for way for the student, not like that. Every that not limitation, it's bad. Yeah, so we must have limitations for our free time, for our free, how they learn, how they find, especially I think with maybe when we want they find the concept, one concept for one something, or one concept for one thing. Yeah, because the concept, if the concept is too far, too, what is it mean, what is that, to go away, not the limitation for with the teachers, with the facilitators, it's going not focused, I think. So I use it too, because you say, sir, that you choose the topic that you use it, or that this is implemented in your class, right? So I use this. I go flow with my students, but I still have a limitations for my students. If my students is what is that, go away from my limitation, I will go back in my track, So the student, yes, the students can do what they want, but as a teachers, or as facilitators, we must to have a limitations too. If the students get a new thing for our limitations, or our aims, or our what is that, our want,
goals.
yeah, it's never mind, because there is finding a new thing for our topic, maybe. Yeah, but we still have a limitation. The limitations is depend on our as teacher, I mean, yeah, we as a teacher must have a limitations. Maybe we can from the indicators that we can we want to the goals from this class. It can be two, the limitations from this class. It can be the limitations, or the goals for the lessons, the goals for the subject. I think that's the limitations for our aims for the learners. And how it measures, I always measure that if they can answer the right answer for my topic, or for my problem to solve them, they can answer, they can find the right thing, or the maybe find a new thing, but this is still related from my subject that I floor for them. I can measure that they succeed, they can do it, I think like that. But if still far away from my mean, for my aims for these lessons, the measures is fail. I only this that simple. I only make it a score for them. Yeah, because the students is often tend to be complicated measures. Sometimes we very confused when we make a complicated measure. That's simple. I always do like that in my class. I hope it can answer your questions, Miss Mada.
So it's not a self-determined learning anymore, because you determine the limits and determine how to measure them.
Yeah, I mean, how yeah, determine, it's mean in this place is determine how the result. Now how the process, it I let go for them. the result. I want to know the result. I measures, I limited for the result. For the process, let go what they use, anything in their environment, their technology, it's up to you. But I measure it, I must have a measure, right? For as a teacher, right? That I measure it for the result. Yeah. So for the result, only for the result. The process, we must let go them. Yeah, I think that's all. I think you're satisfied with my answer. Not yet. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Bapak Ibu, I think we need to make sure that we have the same perspective about the technology. Because if
Sorry,
we-
sir, your voice is not clear.
Oh, yeah? My voice is not-
Yes, we cannot hear you.
Oh. Yeah, wait, let me check it. Can I use that one?
Okay, okay.
What about now?
Yeah, can I make some addition or simple conclusion here?
Wait up, a moment, because there
Okay.
is still, maybe your friends still are still curious about your presentations, but before going further, I need to make sure that everybody has the same perspective about what pedagogy is. Otherwise, we are going to discuss something here and there, but we don't get any point about the pedagogy. So that's why it is important for us to make the same perspective and the same idea about what pedagogy is, because the topic is about pedagogy. Okay, I believe that everybody here has been familiar with pedagogy, haven't you?
Okay, sir.
Quite new for
Uh,
us.
okay, sir. Can I say something about?
Oh, who is speaking?
My
Oh,
name is Mr. Charlie.
Okay, but Charlie.
Yes, Mr. Charlie. So I just want to say something based on what actually our discussion today is in hot issues, right?
Exactly.
So what do I say so? It's because based on the learning process nowadays, in case of what the curriculum has done, and then all over the nations are using this kind of freedom of learning. So based on the Hatha Jaji, I just only want to ask the two of the presenting. Actually, in my own point of view, I could understand well, even though I miss so much the first presenting. But actually, after following here and then I could say that Hatha Jaji are the concept of how the teachers going to teach and how the students are going to learn, actually. And then we jump up to the questions. We come to the questions from the first presenting. How is actually Hatha Jaji presented learning activities nowadays based on curriculum freedom of learning? And the second one is goes to
Okay, Charlie.
the second present well. And this is we focus on the freedom of learning. Okay, because Hatha Jaji is really focused on how the way teachers going to teach and how the way students going to learn. That's why we said that learner center and the teacher center are based on the student oriented or teacher oriented. Now I'm going to ask the second presenting. So how are you going to explain, in a deep way, in case of student learning activity in the sense of freedom of learning based on the Huttageological Essential. Because in Huttageological Essential, we could find that after learning, the students must come to the reflection or metacognitive, right? After learn, and then they have to come to the metacognitive. So that's why we have to discuss well about this kind of things, because we are focusing on our learning activities at this class period. So I am, as a teacher, I am a teacher, and then I am encounter with my students as a learner. So both of them are teacher center and also this at the same time are student center. So how are we going to discuss this kind of things well based on the Huttageological concept?
Interesting. Bu Ani, please take notes.
Actually, this discussion is very hot an issue. I really, as far as possible, and then go from here. I could try to understand well about this kind of pedagogical concept, because this is really focused on the learners and also the teacher as the facilitator, at what Mrs. Westet would say before. Okay, so anyway, let's go deep way. And also, I think maybe it could be better for us to be a good teacher, especially how the way we are going to teach, and also how the way the teacher and the students learn. Okay, so that's all, and thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
So after this, the first and the second presenter will be answering your questions. But again, I need to make sure first, I need to make sure that everybody can take the benefits of coming to my class today, because this topic is really the hottest issue regarding to Kurikulum Merdeka.
Yes, that's.
And the pedagogy, again, this is the improvement of the previous approach. So pedagogy is not learning theory. It is not like constructivism. It's not like behaviorism. It's not like that kind of things. But pedagogy, this is the new paradigm. This is the new approach as the development of the previous approach, like before andragogy. And before that, we have pedagogy. So the difference is that if we are talking about pedagogy, it is teacher-centered or teacher-directed learning. So everything is directed by the teacher. For example, the elementary school students, they cannot determine yet because they do not know why they have to learn something. So they've got to be directed by the teacher. So this is still pedagogy. So pedagogy is the teacher-directed learning. All the thing has been directed by the teacher. Then we are moving forward. We are coming to andragogy. Andragogy is students-directed learning. Students-directed learning. So students are aware of their own learning process. So they are directed because of their internal motivations to learn. So this is an andragogy, okay? But pedagogy, yes. So pedagogy is a higher level than the previous one. Pedagogy is self-driven learning. Remember, self-driven learning. The students are not satisfied what they have already learned. They are curious and keep on being curious about something to learn. So that's why it is leading to what's so-called as lifelong learners, because it comes from self-driven. You are being driven to learn more and more, to know more and more. You are not directed yourself, but you are really driven by your motivation to learn more. So that's why you become the lifelong learners. This is actually the essence of pedagogy, and it aligns with the essence of Kurikulum Merdeka right now, Bapak Ibu. And you've got to remember again and again, pedagogy comes from, or pedagogy is affected by humanistic or humanisms and also constructivism. Why humanism? Because right now, teacher should not use one-fits-all size learning or teaching technique. No,
Okay, I repeat, teacher must not use one fits all size learning strategy. No, because students have their own intelligences. Okay, they should be treated based on their own intelligences. Okay, and constructivism in this case, that the students are trained to construct their learning experience to grasp what they have learned. So they understand the concept of what they are learning based on their construction on their learning experience. You got it, Bapak Ibu? So for example, you should try to give meaningful learning, Bapak Ibu. Meaningful learning. For example, you are teaching English, for example, greeting, for example. You should be able to correlate the materials with the students' real life. They should connect what they have learned with their real life situation. It is not only talking about the theories. So pedagogy is the combination between theories and skill. It is not only knowing something, but how could we implement our knowledge to gain the skills? So this is the essence of pedagogy. This is the combination between the concept and the skill. What I'm doing right now actually is driving you to have the pedagogy. I'm teaching you by using the pedagogy design. Why? Because in the first half semester, I let you decide your own topic. I mean, let's say I provide the topic, but you need to select by using your own consideration. If you think it is important to be learned, then you select it. So you are learning the concept in the first half semester, but in the second half semester, not anymore. So you should be able to use the concept in the first half semester into the implementation in the second half semester. So in the first half semester, you are learning about the concept of pedagogy, the concept, the knowledge, but in the second half semester, you are trying to implement. So pedagogy is the implementation between the concept and also the practice. So this is pedagogy, Bapak Ibu. Okay, so it aligns with the basic concept of Kurikulum Merdeka. And again, Bapak Ibu, actually, the basic concept of pedagogy is agency, learner agency. Does anybody know about the agency? Sorry? Yes? No. Learner agency in pedagogy, it means that the students are given more opportunity to be the decision makers of their own learning process. They should be able to decide the topic, to decide when, where, how, to evaluate their own learning process. But the problem right now is that how could we design such kind of perfect things in our classroom? Right? So there are some principles in pedagogy. The first one is agency. Agency in this case that teacher are training the students to be the decision makers of their own learning process. So they become the decision makers. So this is the first principle of pedagogy, learner agency. The second principle is self-efficacy. You know self-efficacy, Bapak Ibu? Self-efficacy belief. Self-efficacy belief is when the students are confident that they can accomplish the task given by the teacher. For example, Bapak Ibu, if you make questions for the students, for example, 3 questions, you must make sure 1 question the student must be able to answer. So the first question, you need to make sure that the first questions is the student must be able to answer the first question. You are, as the teacher, must decide this can be answered by the question by the students. When the students are able to answer the first question, then they have confidence. I could do this because it's quite easy for the first questions. I can go further for the next questions. They have self-efficacy belief. Self-efficacy belief is the belief in which the students can accomplish the task given by the teacher. So this is the second principle of pedagogy, self-efficacy belief. Okay, and the next one is non-linear learning. Non-linear learning in this case that students can learn anywhere and anytime, so that pedagogy is intertwined with technology. Pedagogy is closely related to technology because by using the technology, the student can learn where and when. They can just one click, then they can learn anywhere and anytime. So this is non-linear learning, not linear, but non-linear learning, okay? So if you teach your student by using linear learning right now, you rob the student's future, okay? And the last one is the reflection. The reflection in this case that, like what Bu Ani said, double loop learning. Are you familiar with this kind of term? Double loop learning? Double loop learning? Double loop learning in this case, this is the skill for the students. They not only learn, not only solve the problem, but they know the way how to solve, and they learn how to learn. They know or they learn how to learn. How to say? Okay, when you give the question to the students, you want the students solve the problem, right? Okay, so double loop learning is not only directing the student to solve the problem, but the student must be able to know the way how to solve the problem. To know the way how to solve this problem, the student need to reflect. Oh, how can I solve this problem? The first I do this, that, this, that. Okay, so they think, they reflect what they have been learning. So that's why this is not only solving the problem, but also they know the way how to solve the problem. They learn how to learn. You get the point? So this is the point of pedagogy. Pedagogy actually proposed by two proponents, Hayes and Kenyon. Remember that? Hayes and Kenyon is the Hayes and Kenyon are the proponents suggesting about pedagogy. So pedagogy, Bapak Ibu, it aligns with Kurikulum Merdeka right now. So that's why I give you this topic, because it's really close with your daily life as a teacher. Because right now you are using what's called as Kurikulum Merdeka, and Kurikulum Merdeka is closely related to flexible learning, and flexible learning is closely related to autonomous learning, and autonomous learning is the goal of pedagogy, in which the student become the decision maker of their own learning process. Okay, so we should have this perspective, the same perspective first, then we can talk a lot about other things. So do you get the concept of pedagogy, Bapak Ibu?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's good. So this is the basic concept of pedagogy. And after having the same perspective of pedagogy, we can now discuss about the problem given by Pak Charlie. Bu Eti, you have been given some questions or one question by Pak Charlie. Did you write it? No.
Forget the question.
Forget the questions. Okay, Bu Ani, did you write the questions?
Yeah, I only noted for my question about how the teacher, what is it, make a plan, and then from the start until the reflection, the reflection of studies. Okay, only this. But I will try to answer. Where is it? Yeah. Actually, we have enrichment and remedial for what is it? For increase our our student knowledge. But before talk more about those, how we draw. I think how we draw our lesson, how we teach as a teacher, and then how the student study as a learners. I think Students and teachers jointly design a study plan and then choose what to learn first. And of course, with the teacher's recommendation, during carrying out all the lesson plans, there is control that is carried out, namely by having a learning agreement, including consequences if someone violates or ignore the class agreement. But don't forget to give rewards if someone obeys the rules and then after that carries out tasks well and even makes progress or new ideas, because our student is very happy if they can get gift from their teacher, right? And then at the end of the lesson, make a reflection, like make a question, what you got during the study earlier, what are your plans after this, and how did you feel while studying. Usually we can call it 4P, ya, peristiwa, and then what else, perencanaan, perasaan, nah, yang kita dapatkan when the student during learned. Okay, thank you, sir. Can you understand, Mr. Charlie?
Okay, so I could understand. But anyway, after we listen and try to connect our knowledge to what the lecture has said before, that if we try to go back to your discussion and then there has been enlightened by the lecture, that's I have in mind. And then here we need to understand about the heterogeneity comes to this kind to this what's that to this era, for instance, we can say. And then we may say here, I have noted here that the lecture has said that Heterogeneity actually lies under curriculum Merdeka. And then nowadays students lies on their intelligence. So as a teacher, we have to understand about our students' intelligences. So they have their own real problems, actually. And then as a teacher, as a facilitator, we have to provide such a design procedural so that the student can understand well about their real problems, and then they could find their problems. Or for instance, we can find out about the problem solving. First, we understand, okay, we find out the intelligence of the students or the students' intelligences. So it means that we are really fine about their own problems, their own real world. And then after we find out about this kind of things, then we have to provide about the procedural designs in order for them to solve their problem. So this is how we talk so much about what pedagogy is today. That's why what the lecture has explained well about before. It is because lies on curriculum Merdeka. So that's why I got it. But anyway, your explanation is okay, connect to my questions, because it is the real problems that we find out to the students, starting from learning up to the reflection. Okay, so this is connected. Okay, so that's all. And then I think the first question has been answered by the lecturer, because the heterogeneity is actually presented nowadays. It is lies on the curriculum Merdeka. So that's why we talk so much about curriculum Merdeka. Okay, so thank you so much.
Wait, everyone, because there is an error.
Sir, so, okay. One of us have to mute the microphone. Oh, is that? Hello, check, check. Okay. So to put it simply, actually, methodology is how we teach students to learn independently, so they can learn even without the teacher present. Is it also correct? I mean, like if it's how we teach the student to learn even without a teacher, then it can be also applied outside of the class, isn't it? Okay, if it's outside of the class and we teach them to learn by themselves, can they also assess themselves, assess their development without any instructor or teacher?
Very good questions, and it's very tickling questions, Ricky. Because if we want to assess or evaluate the result of our students' learning, then we need to make sure that we not only know there should be the attitude also.
Okay.
The attitude. In this case, that yes, of course, without the teacher, the student can learn. Do you still remember about flipped classroom learning? In the beginning, the teacher meet the students, and the teacher, as the facilitator, give the instruction to the students by having the project, and the students do and learn at home by using the instruction provided by the teacher. They learn at home or they learn anywhere. But after accomplishing the project, they need to report to the teacher. Of course, the teacher must be present. In this case, that not the place, yeah? I'm not talking about the place, but your accompaniment over there. So the students learn at home or learn everywhere based on your instruction, and you are, as the teacher, you are only facilitator. You may not dominate the learning process, okay? Because the essence of pedagogy is actually student learner centered, okay? Or student centered learning. So in this case, you evaluate as a teacher, the teacher must still need to evaluate the student's progress, okay? But in this case, the evaluations, of course, it is not only based on the cognitive, but also some other things. It could be the attitude, it could be the student confidence, it could be the different behavior from the students. Why? Because pedagogy is the students-centered learning in which the students decide when, what to learn, when to learn, where to learn, and how to evaluate their own skills. They need to evaluate their own skills. How? Of course, technology. Of course, technology. Because you are not with them, then you give them the link or the YouTube. They need to imitate what they learned. Exactly like what they have learned from the YouTube or from the link. At the end of this project, they need to report to you as the teacher, facilitator. The role of the teacher cannot be substituted by any technology. Okay, although technology has a lot of things, but the presence of the teacher cannot be substituted. Okay.
Okay.
So if
The teacher don't need to be physically present.
exactly.
They only need to give feedback.
Exactly, exactly. So this is what's called as Kurikulum Merdeka. Kurikulum Merdeka. Merdeka for teacher to teach, Merdeka for students to learn. The teacher are free to create, to design any teaching strategy for the students so that the students are interested in learning more. And the learners are given more freedom to design the way they learn. But of course, the goals in this case, the teacher should make the agreement with the students to reach the goal. The teacher still have very important role in the learning process. Okay, so physically, like what Mada said, the teacher should not always be with the student. But based on the project that you have already given, the students are learning at home. But again, they need to report to you the results. Okay. So, like the platform of Merdeka Belajar, for example, have you downloaded it? So you are really provided by more opportunities to design, to create the teaching strategy. And you try to give the freedom for the students. How can you reach this goal using your own way? You give the instruction, blah, 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 because you are only the facilitator. You must not dominate the class. Okay, but I need to make sure that Kurikulum Merdeka doesn't mean that Merdeka sakarmu. No. Yeah. But teacher is still a facilitator. Teacher facilitate the students to reach the learning goals, but the students are free to choose the way, their own learning strategy to get the goals. Hello? Yes.
Check. Yeah, I think your voice is coming from my microphone, not from yours.
Oh, really?
But clear. Can you hear all of the explanation? So then.
Okay, so can anybody listen to my voice? Hi there.
I couldn't hear well because the sound is so far away.
Yes, I can. Yeah, but it's quite far.
Can I sit here? Okay, what about now? Still? What about now? Bapak Ibu? It's clear.
It's clearer, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I can see your face now.
Okay. Okay, Bapak Ibu. So it's very interesting talking about the topic today because it's closely related to your daily work, right? But of course, we need to be very critical because sometimes pedagogy needs a well preparation. Okay. Not just think about the theory, but we've got to think about how to implement this kind of theories in our daily work. Right? But again and again, because you have been dealing with Kurikulum Merdeka, it means you have been dealing with pedagogy right now. Whether you are aware or not, but right now you are dealing with pedagogy. Yeah, because the basic concept of pedagogy is actually students learning, student-centered learning. Yeah, And this is the basic concept of Kurikulum Merdeka, actually. Okay. One more question, probably. Yes, please.
Can I say something, sir?
Okay.
Well, actually, it's not a question. It's just self-reflection, what I am feeling, what I am, what is that? Trying to understand from your explanation and the presenters. For me, I'm questioning myself. As a teacher, can I do heutagogy in my class? I'm still questioning about that because sometimes as a teacher, we feel like, gemes diajari kok gak iso-iso, like that. So we have to, that's the nature of emak-emak maybe, yes, sir. But yeah, we have to hold our emotion and then we have to trust the students. So that's the challenge for me. We have to be more patient. Maybe it's a bit hard in the beginning, but when everybody is, not everybody, but every teachers in Indonesia are agree, every teachers in Indonesia agree with heutagogy and we can do it all together. Inshallah, I think we can make our students become self-determined learners. But the problem is now, yeah, we are still on the way to heutagogy to be applied in our class. Yeah, that's what I want to share. The nature of emak-emak. Yeah, thank you, Pak Charlie.
Thank you
So the sounds is loving, okay?
for reflection.
Keep spirit, ma. Keep spirit. The nature of emak-emak. So this.
Yeah.
So, Bapak Ibu, if you are learning something and then you are thinking of yourself, you are reflecting what you have learned, it means that you are experiencing the learning process.
Yes.
Yes.
But if you are discussing right now with me and 5 minutes after now, then you forgot all the things that we have already discussed, then you haven't learned anything actually. Yeah. So the process could be seen, so whether you are experiencing the learning or not, is that whether the topic that we are discussing right now affects the way of your thinking. This is the reflection. After discussing about this one, is there any changes or is there any change in your instructional strategy? So if after discussing about this and you forget about anything, you don't have anything to say or to think, then it means that you do not experience the learning process. You just come here, sit, discuss, and that's it. Okay. But if you keep on thinking about, oh yeah, have I done about this pedagogy? And how could I do this kind of pedagogy? You are keep on questioning yourself. So you are experiencing the learning process. Even if you are dreaming about pedagogy, then you will reach the goals of pedagogy. Yeah.
Hopefully.
But interesting questions, Bapak Ibu. I said before that there is an approach that can pedagogy, andragogy, and hedagogy. Should we implement separately, or can we do in a same way? Or let's say hedagogy. Right now, I'm using hedagogy for my class. Can we do that?
It's depend on the context, I mean.
What do you mean?
It's depend on the context. If it is hedagogy, and then we can do it. But it is another part of that, then we can use that. Because all the concepts are accepted. If we try to combine in a one way, or it try to reconcile them as of one part, then maybe it could be, was that confused and ambiguous?
Now,
so to speak, maybe.
I want to think about your students, Bapak Ibu, in your classroom. In your classroom. Are the students in their classroom belongs to, or do they belong to hedagogy? Or do they belong to andragogy? Or do they belong to pedagogy?
Pedagogy.
Maybe
Andragogy,
some
on the way
students
to pedagogy.
are still in pedagogy. Then you got to treat differently from those who are in andragogy. Maybe
Yeah.
some students, they belong to pedagogy, then you've got to treat by using pedagogy design. So this is what's called as pedagogy, andragogy, and pedagogy continuum. Continuum in this case that you see, oh, this student belong to pedagogy, so I should treat like this one.
Yes.
So I need to lead these students to reach to andragogy. When they are in andragogy level, they can you can lead to pedagogy level. So this is what's called as pedagogy, andragogy, and pedagogy continuum. So it will be impossible all the students in the classroom belong to pedagogy. No, Bapak Ibu, it is impossible because they have different background, they have different skill, they have different ability. So you need to make sure that, okay, my students are still in the pedagogy, then I need to lead them to reach the andragogy. When you know that students are in andragogy, then you need to lead them to pedagogy. When they are in pedagogy, then you can say, okay, my students need to be lifelong learners. Yeah, Bapak Ibu. So it's quite interesting to talk about this because we are dealing with Kurikulum Merdeka. Kurikulum Merdeka actually leading the student to reach pedagogy, Bapak Ibu. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Pak Maskur, you still have question, Pak Maskur? Okay, 4 minutes more, Bapak Ibu, because there is questions.
Okay, thank you for the time. Actually, I write down about maybe around 10 questions, but I'm not sure about the time. Maybe for Mbak Edi, because actually this problem I found in my daily life, actually not only for students, but also for the teacher, maybe around my city in the place that I teach. The problem is in pedagogy, the learning process done by individually, and also the student can learn flexible. And then the problem is how the way to reach successful learning for the lazy people or students who don't have lack motivation on learning. How the way? Because actually there is no, there is not just student, but also the teacher. When I got a meeting with the Captain, and then the Captain asked all of the teacher in Pasuruan, asked them how the way, how long, how your achievement in using PMM, platform Merdeka Belajar, and then almost of and then many of them said that they just use rarely, not always, but this is, I think, also the problem, because even though from the government given the material about learning something, but this is still a bad problem, big problem from their self. Maybe they are lazy to learn and then lazy to open the PMM. That's not. That's, I think, a big problem. How do we solve it? Okay, thank you.
It's very interesting. Bapak Ibu, you know what? All the questions you give inspires me to write the paper. What you have already asked, actually, you can write. Please write. Okay, it's quite interesting. Oh, you haven't write the title. That's good. Bapak Ibu, it's very interesting because you can correlate the problem with pedagogy. You can correlate the problem with the framework of pedagogy. As a matter of fact, not only the students belong to pedagogy, but some teachers belong to pedagogy. Like what Pak Maskur said. See, now the problem, how can we lead the student to reach pedagogy if the teacher are still in pedagogy? Interesting, right? So you can write and reflect and think, then how could we lead the students to reach the pedagogy or to reach the autonomous learners, but the teacher are not autonomous, right? So how? Then you can think like the program in your school. The answer of this question is actually related to the programs that the headmaster have or the headmaster has in your school to motivate the teacher first. Because the teacher, when they are successful to be autonomous teacher, then they can lead the student to be more autonomous. How can the teacher lead the student to be autonomous if they are not autonomous? See, how can the student lead the student to use the technology if the teacher never used technology? See, it's interesting. How can you say that? Okay, right now we should follow Kurikulum Merdeka. Kurikulum Merdeka. We use
Special for lansia
PPM.
people.
We must use PPM, but the teacher never open the PPM. See, please write. It's very interesting, Bapak Ibu. And please try to find the solutions of this problem. How could we find the solution of this problem? Of course, you need to think about the programs from the headmaster, the program from the school. Which program attached this problem? Interesting. I'm thinking a lot of things in this class, really.
Yep.
Yeah. And remember, Bapak Ibu, your final task or the final project of my course is that you need to write a paper. You need to write a paper or article related to what have been discussed in this class.
Oh, nice.
You have a lot of problems and very interesting phenomena. Then how can we solve this problem? Then we have learning about pedagogy. If pedagogy doesn't affect your working place, then what for? Bapak Ibu. So that's, you only know about pedagogy, but you do not know how to use pedagogy. And I'm talking a lot, but useless. Okay, so that's why right now you must think, oh yeah, my students, have I been teaching you by using pedagogy, or have I been teaching you by using andragogy or pedagogy? Even I myself, do I belong to pedagogy, andragogy, or pedagogy? You are the teacher. Evaluate yourself. Please be honest. So it is interesting, Bapak Ibu, ya.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. Oke, sudah maghrib ya. Oke. So please think it at home, think it over.
Oh, Akbar.
And please, Pak
Oh
Roy,
my God, nice meeting today. Wow,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So I think if we have much time, then we can discuss a lot about the phenomena and how to solve the problem. We can discuss about the strategy.
Make a table manner.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the problem is not only in the students, but the problem is from the teacher. Remember that, okay? So how can we solve all together? Yeah. So Bapak Ibu, thank you very much again and again. Our conclusion.
Okay, you're welcome, sir.
Pedagogy is the students' learning center in which that they are driven to be decision makers of their learning process. And they become the lifelong learners. They have their own motivation to drive them to learn a lot, to be more curious about something that they have known yet. Okay, thank you very much for coming to my class, and don't forget to think.
Okay, so welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Lifelong
much.
learner.
Bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
Tuh, banyak tuh
wabarakatuh.
penggerak tapi malas nulis paper.